But that's when you look at it, that's how life is pretty much. Is everything synced up? Do you have everything going the way you want it to go? A lot of times when you go into your back office of your Surge 365 business and you say, what is that? What is that? You don't know. So you have to kind of reset and go back, or maybe ask somebody, what's that? And when did that change? And how does that look? And it's all just because you didn't take enough time to sit back and look at what you have. We had an old friend who called me last week sometime, and she said she wanted to get back into the travel business. And I thought, oh, that'll be fine, yada da. But you know how sometimes people talk, so you just go, sure, no problem. So how's the kids going? How's the kids doing? Because a lot of times they just talk, they just talk. So you just listen to them or whatever. So we, after, a couple hours of talking, because I hadn't talked to her in a while, so we had to catch up on all of her kids, all of her grandkids, and of course my kids and my granddaughter. So we just ended up getting back all, caught up pretty much. And so the conversation ended, and she goes, well, Brenda, I really want to do that travel business, because you and Rick, you guys are still doing it, right? And I'm like, yeah, we still are. And then we talked some more about nothing, just family. And then again, I said, okay, well, I'm going to go now. I'm going to let you go, and we'll stay in touch. And don't let it be a few years before we talk again. And she said, oh, okay, it won't be. And so maybe less than 3-4 days later, she's calling me again. I'm thinking, okay, we already got caught up, so why are you calling me again? She was calling me because she was serious. She said, Brenda, how do I activate my site again? And I thought, oh, you were serious. I thought you were playing. And then I said, well, there's a phone number. And, of course, Rick was right there in the background. And he said, what? Who are you talking to? And I said, I'm talking to Angela. And he said, well, you can't just have her call the company. I'm like, okay. I said I would check with you first before I have her do anything. And so, of course, we went on and contacted the company, and Rick sent in an email, all the steps that needed to be done in order to get her going again, where to put her, blah, 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 all the stuff, and through the email. But I say all that to say, when you're not going back there, plugging in all the time, you don't know. And so I did not know the steps. So I was going to say, okay, hold on, let me check with Rick, let me get the phone number, and you can call whatever you want to do. Rick has done it several times, getting people started up again, because again, I still, even with her asking for the phone number, I still did not believe that she was serious about getting started again. Because when she was in the business, she did really good, and she brought people on board, and she was great at putting cruises together in groups and all that. But I still, for some reason, didn't think she was really serious about doing it again, but she was. And so now she is, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I've done that before in reactivating someone who is no longer in the system. And it's a more extensive process than, giving somebody the number. See, because that's when I heard you, I said, okay, you didn't know that. Then giving somebody the number to call, because they don't even know what to ask for. And they'll be like, yeah, I want to come back in. Okay, well, what's your number? I mean, they don't even really get a person, really. I haven't called lately with that number. But anyhow, but it's an email to Elizabeth. And man, everything is relationships. Everything is relationships, and knowing who to go to for what. And one of the things in the secret to my success is that, I take people by the hand, as we all on this call do, and I walk them through the process to ensure that they make it through the process. And the reason that is people give up so easily. And it's not even that they have a, inclination necessarily to give up. It's just that the resistance that comes against them. Everybody on this call, we know, spiritually, just looking at it from a spiritual, even natural perspective, you about ready to hit some resistance. And everybody on this call has been conditioned to go through. We've been conditioned that, okay, I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 levels that I've got to make it through, to get to the goal. And but Elizabeth at Surge is the one. And so if somebody needs to reactivate, and this is just general information for everyone on the call, if you have someone that needs to reactivate, and if you've got Elizabeth's email, then you can send her and say, hey, Elizabeth, I'd like to reactivate this particular person. And if you've got the number, their Surge number, ID number, include that. And they'll reactivate them so they can even just show up in the system. And so with the lady that Brenda's talking about, I said, well, reactivate her and place her. I didn't really know where she was on our original team, but place her under Brenda. And so Brenda and I, of course, back in the day, we got 2 sites. We still have 2 sites. And so Elizabeth came back and says, well, Rick, she's actually under you. And so this would be, a sponsored placement, but you would lose your 25%. I guess now that they have, it used to be the 100% of anything for the personally sponsored. And I said, oh, no, we'll just keep her where she is, just reactivate her. I didn't know where she was because she was no longer in the system. Anybody who's no longer in the system, Surge still can find them. They're still in the system. They just don't show up on your team. And so, Brenda, since I knew that you didn't know that as a process, it was like, well, let me just step in because there's not a number to call necessarily to get this done. This is really just one of those take them by the hand and walk them through, and it may be a couple of steps. So I sent the email to Elizabeth. I'll get the response from Elizabeth. And then, well, she actually responded, and I sent it back saying, hey, yeah, just go ahead and reactivate her. Now, Elizabeth, she may call her directly, the lady directly, to get the credit card number and to activate her in the system, with the $20 and the $99. They don't have to pay the $400 again. And so, but she'll call her or send her an email saying, okay, or she may just say, okay, here is your login. And I've seen her do this before, Elizabeth. She sent them an email that says, here's your, go to my.surge365.com. Here's your username, typically the email, and here's the password reset, where you can reset your password. And then once they log in, they get the pop-up for reactivation of the SBA, $20, and the membership, $99. But they don't have to pay the $400, $499 over again. So that's a pretty good deal. Anybody have any questions on that at all?
Hey, Rick, Chantel, why don't you share with us the option that was given to Norvell, because we had a similar situation.
Right, it's pretty much the same. They are literally going to let the people restart, and they pay their $99. If they want to activate the SBA, they pay that $19.95, and they're back in. And I just love what this company is doing for us. What companies will do that for you?
I know.
When you're I'm talking years ago, this guy, it's been, I don't know how many years. It's probably been about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, we got that. We'll just, we'll activate them. And that was the email. And that's exactly how it worked. And there were other people, because I had one guy in there who had been with us for years. And I just wanted to know which system he came in. I didn't even ask her about activating him. I just wanted to know where he was. And she says, oh, we found him. She says, but you know what? Don't even worry about that. He just He just, he will just, have him pay the $99 and he can get started today. And I'm looking at her like, whoa, this is awesome. So, I mean, for a person to be able to have some tax benefits in their family, I'm talking to people that just bought brand new homes and things like this. I'm just trying to reawaken them as to some of the benefits that are possible for them in a home-based business to help with that. You know what I mean? Back to you, Rick and Brenda.
Yeah, those tax benefits, if people only knew.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
If he just bought a new home, it's like, here are the tax benefits. Boom, 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 boom.
No brainer. No
It's a
brainer.
no-brainer.
I would like to write off $1 million house. Wouldn't you?
Your internet, your cell phones. And of course, we always tell them, you have to talk to your tax professional, but it's a no-brainer. Your travel, your cruises, your this, your that, the other. Man, if people only knew. And a lot of times they're looking at the initial outlay, as opposed to just projecting the savings, lowering your taxable income and what that means down the road, when you're getting ready to file your taxes. But yeah, they go back even to the
Excuse me, Rick. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We have also been sharing that with our daughter. That is a big deal. I wish people would really take the time. We had another one of our partners call yesterday, did not have a clue or inkling of these tax. And you know what I've learned? And people keep saying, why are you guys so successful? Why are you, I say, you know what? One thing that we are really good with is staying in place as far as the information flow. We got that. We're checking our emails. We're involved with the team. We're involved with the company. So when this stuff comes through, and even if we miss a few, the team will catch it and someone will share. But if you're not on the calls with us, you're not on the Zooms, perhaps you're going to have to make an adjustment in your life to say, you know what? Let me take some time to learn my business so that I can understand how to receive these tax benefits. Because if you've been with us for like 5 or more years and you haven't received your tax benefits, what are you doing? And I can't sit down and explain this to you. And what I would say is, you know what? I'm not a tax professional, and you have to take that up with the tax professional. But we do have training in here that talks about that when you do your training. It is included. And we have the Hurdler app in here to help you. But you have to plug into that.
Now, how can we help? I mean, I'm just saying, I don't understand, and I kind of probably do, but what I don't understand is, how can people not look into something further that can benefit them? Like we're talking the tax benefit.
It is a decision, Rick. It is a decision. It's a decision. Like I got up this morning. You got up this morning. We got up. We do what we do. We do our spiritual stuff. We do our whatever that is. It is a decision. We're making that decision. We made a decision to get on the Zoom with the leaders today. That's what it is. You have to value this enough to say, I'm going to go a little further. I'm in a whole nother quarter coming into the end of the year. Perhaps I want to set some goals this time. I want to hit a target this time. There is no way in the world that you are going to prosper in anything that you're doing, not just business, unless you put some time into it. That's just real life. That you own a business. This is a business, people. This is a business. I mean, it's a business.
It's true.
You have to put the time in. If you plan to receive the benefits, and perhaps you're not trying to build a team, or okay, well, you say you want to work to travel. And I heard this on a call the other night. Well, work to travel. But do what you came here to do and receive what you came here to receive. We all want to see everybody successful here. And when we're successful, guess what? Our company is successful. That's my little piece, Rick.
I think it's perfect. That's perfect. And I think it also comes down to if a person has a plan for their life, a vision for their life. Because once you have a vision for your life, you can see the things that will help you get there. You know, the books to read, the people to surround yourself with, the business, you know, that you want to be. You know, once you have a vision, it will make sense of your life in plotting a course that will take you to your vision. And so when you look at this kind of a business, if you're saying, okay, I really need to get some residual income, or I need to be able to establish generational wealth, you know, so that I own something, you know, that I have ownership in something and I can build something. But whatever it is, or taxes even, how does that fit into the vision for your life? You know, today, you know, yesterday, tomorrow, whatever the case may be, how does it fit? Okay, I need to lower my taxable income. You know, what tools can I have? What tools can I use to do that? Surge 365. It's an actual home-based business. And then you may do some research, Google research, AI research. You know, what is the benefits of owning a home-based business? What are the tax benefits for owning a home-based business? And just do that as a Google search, and your eyes will become opened. You're like, what? A home-based business. Home-based business owners are entitled to. And when you see the list, so I think it really comes down, a lot of times people don't have the vision for their future. And so they respond to life, you know, like a ping pong ball, you know, or a ping pong machine getting bounced from here to there real time, not knowing that that does not let up, you know, but until you actually take control, that will continue through your entire life. And boy, oh boy, what I love about the people on this call and the folks who, like you said, making a decision, Chantel, that get involved, you know, with us, we are people who are determined to make it. You know, we are a people that are determined to overcome anything, you know, that comes our way. We have been conditioned to fight, you know, and not just, you know, flailing in the wind. But I had a gentleman that joined from Canada, and he wanted to, this morning, he wanted to open up a domain name. And of course, we've gone through that. Everything that you are learning right now, somebody is going to be using in the future. You're learning it so that you can apply it to someone's case in the future. Everything. There's nothing that's missed. And so he said, Rick, how do I do that? And he's a tech guy. And I said, okay, well, let's walk you through it. And so we tried to walk through it, and he had some problems up in Canada with it didn't take, you know, the postal code. And I think he forgot to hit Canada. So it was looking for numbers like in the US. And so I said, well, let's just call, you know, GoDaddy. Call GoDaddy. They set the whole thing up for him. And he was like, wow. People on this call, then you may not recognize this, but if you've been in this business any length of time or been around us any length of time, you have a unique skill set, you know, that at whatever degree you're developing, you know, you're developing it for someone, you know, who's going to be coming to you. And we got him all set up. He was like, thank you, Rick. Thank you. You know, you would have paid me money. You know, he was so grateful, you know. And but back to you, Brenda.
All righty. Anybody else? You know, Rick, that is so true. And then too, with Canada, because of the currency exchange, the U.S. dollar is more powerful than their currency, or I should say higher in value. And our $400 to $500 for Canadian was close to almost $800, their money. And so he was like, wow, that's more, da, da, da. But that just goes to show you, he was still ready to say, okay, well, still, let's do this, you know. So we take those little things just like that for granted, that how powerful our dollar is, but yet he's still willing to work and work it for himself, and he wants to help people, and he wants to put group trips together. And so I like those type of people. I mean, he got started, he blasted out an email. I like folks that know what they want and they go and do it. They don't sit around and wait for someone to call them to tell them how to work their business. I love self-starters. Self-starters are the ones that just blow up in Surge 365. When you call them back in a week to see how things are going, they already completed the first start training, and you will get an email to let you know that they have completed it. They've already sent out an email and talking to their friends and family about the new business and how they want to get started on it. You talk about a go party, they've already been talking to people because they're excited, and they don't need someone to tell them, do step 1, step 2, step 3. And I really like those self-starters, because they end up stumbling because they really don't know what they're doing, but they end up stumbling right into success. And that's how easy our business is. You can stumble into success. And another thing I wanted to share with everybody is, you know, goals. Everybody thinks that your goals should be long-term. Like, in 10 years, I want to be here. In 5 years, I want to be here. And next year, I want to be here. Your goals, you don't have to have them so far out. Goals should be something that you could reach by tomorrow. What's your goal tomorrow? I wouldn't really call it a goal, but I think tomorrow I want to do such and such. Well, it doesn't matter what you want to call it, but map it out. Write out your day. What do you want to achieve? We were listening to some training, I forget when and who, because we listen to a lot, but they were saying how you write out your day the night before, and when you wake up, see the whole day being completed and you've gotten your goals done. To see what happens is we just start our day, well, I'm going to get up tomorrow. What time am I going to have breakfast? Oh, yeah, that's right, I'm going to have breakfast, and blah, 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 blah. But we don't put any goal. What are you going to achieve tomorrow? What are you going to achieve that's different than your routine? Because, yeah, if you're working a 9 to 5, well, I'm going to go to work and I have some, projects I have to complete. I have to get some emails out. Those are not your goals. Those are work things. And that's somebody else's goal. I mean, that's your boss's goal, for you to get those emails out so he can get that contract, so he can make his company rich. So you have to have your own goals. Like my goal, and I'm so excited, I have been achieving it every day so far, even though I don't want to, but I do. And I push myself to create or to complete my 8,000 steps. And so I set my phone and I make sure, and I can complete my 8,000 steps in an hour and a half. That's how long it can take me. It can be shorter if I move faster, but no more than an hour and a half I can. And that's me stopping, drinking water, blah, blah, blah. So that's a goal that I have been doing now, I'd say for about the last 3 weeks. And I like it. Now, one thing about it, I don't see any big drastic changes, but that will come. And see, I know a lot of people say, oh, here's an example. I've given up sugar and I still haven't lost any weight. Well, what else? I mean, then what else? What about all those starches? And what about all that? There's still a lot of things that go around those goals. So make sure they're realistic. Make sure it's something that you can do, but definitely make a goal for every day. Achieve something new every day. Learn something new every day. It's something about keeping that brain active. It's something about when you're learning something new, it's going to spark different ideas on things that you should do. And be it a personal goal, a business goal, whatever it is, it's going to spark ideas. And so when you're starting to learn things, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't think of that. You know, I have this in my closet. I can put this with that, and then that will work. Or I have this book. Oh, I forgot about that book. I remember just the other day, we were talking about the game of life with Sharon. It's not like we forgot it, but it's something that we haven't talked about in a long time because we started learning other things. We started moving up and learning more detailed ways of thinking and what to do, how powerful your mind is, how powerful your words are. So you just keep moving up and up. But if you don't even start with the basic, how are you ever going to get higher with your goals? However, even look at education. You know, a first grader, they're not taking college courses, but eventually their goal is to get there. And so they start off 1 year at a time. Just like a toddler, they don't come out of the womb walking unless you're Rick Reese. That's what his mother told us when he came out walking. But that's another story. And so, you know, you walk, you crawl, you do that little shake thing, and you crawl, and then before you know you're standing, and then you're walking. Everything takes a process. So put your goal down as a process. If you want to be a certain level in Surge 365, if you want to make a certain amount of money in Surge 365, then what's the first step to achieving that? Set a goal and count back. And that's something that they've taught forever. So if you have a goal to do this, then what do you have to do each day to achieve that goal? Now, the first week, the first month, or whatever, you probably won't see that goal or whatever. But if you keep being consistent, you're going to start finding yourself getting towards your goal, hitting your goals. But you have to write it down. You have to make it plain. And more than anything, you have to believe it. So if your goal is to do one thing, you have to believe it. You have to see yourself there. And you have to continue to work towards it. And it really helps when you write it down and you see it every day. It really helps when you journal and you write down, oh, today I completed my goal for today. Or today I didn't complete my goal, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue tomorrow. This and this, because we know life happens. So this happened, that happened. So I didn't get it done today, but I'm going to start it fresh, anew tomorrow. And so it's all on how you look at things and how you move towards it. So if you think, and I'm loving watching these plants grow, and I'm loving how I have one plant, it's called a shrimp plant. I have no idea why it's called a shrimp plant. It doesn't look anything like a shrimp, but it has these beautiful yellow bulbs that bloom. And so when I first went to the nursery and I picked up this plant, I only got one of them because I wasn't sure how it would grow. And it was small and had one little bulb like, oh, buy me. So of course I did. So now I have like 6 or 7 bulbs of this plant. And what I like to do is watch it because you have to turn it. If I leave it in the direction that it is now, it's going to go towards the sunlight and it'll start growing in that left direction or whatever. Soon as I turn that plant around, the next day, it is standing up straighter because it's getting ready to start pointing towards the sunlight. And sometimes this plant, it does this in 24 hours. It's really amazing how this plant reacts to sunlight. But if I didn't pay attention to it, it would probably be drooping all the way over into the sunlight, and it's like, oh, no, it's falling down. I got to get a stick to hold it up because of blah, blah, blah. It just wants to get to the sun. So think of that. you should be that determined to get to the sun. You should be that determined that no matter which way I turn, I'm heading towards that sun. You should be that determined to no matter which way it turns, no matter what happens in life, I'm headed towards my goal. I'm going to achieve what I want out of life. Because another thing I was reading, which I thought was very interesting, is how many of us on this call, and you don't have to answer the question, just think about it. No, let's see, I got to count. Your great, 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 great grandparents. That's 4 greats. How many of you know your great, 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 great grandparents? Now, we're not going to let Rick talk about it because he knows, because his family did the whole ancestry thing and they've been trailing each other and all this. This is a whole other story with him. But I don't. I know 3 greats. I know my great grandmother and my great grandmother's mother, but that's it. I don't know my great 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 grandmother, let alone my great 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 grandmother. So, how many will your great 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 grandchildren know you? And 150 years from now, if your home that you're living in now is still standing, and they haven't taken it down to do a high rise or a gas station or whatever they do, you have no idea who will be living in it. But we get so caught up in the things for now when it's fleeting. It's fleeting. But see, travel, which I love about it, it's not. It's memories. My mom and I, and Angela always brings this thought back to mind because she was the one that put this trip together, and she had 90 people doing the foliage cruise, leaving out of New York City, going up to Nova Scotia, I forget the name of the little city, but all the way up. Yes, and my mother always wanted to go on that. So I said, let's do it. So Rick was like, yeah, you go with your mom and you have a great time. And we did. And it's something that my mom always wanted to do. So it just makes me smile because it was a dream of hers that I was able to fulfill for her. And we had such a great time on that cruise. We left out of Colorado Springs and we missed the play. We were going to see the play, The Color Purple, but airlines and all this was crazy. But they were very nice. They put us in first class, and by the time we got to downtown Times Square, we were in a nice high-rise. We could look out and see all of Times Square. And even when we lived in New York City, staying in one of those high-rise hotels was not really a dream of mine, but I would look up and say, I wonder who's staying in those and who's up in the... My mother and I, we were in one, and we were out looking out the window, looking down at Times Square, looking at the... It was so surreal. It was so fun. We had just a great, great time, and the cruise was great. It's a memory, and it's something that'll make me smile.
Brenda,
Now,
one of my favorite trips of all the trips we've taken is taking my mom to New York City. She had
yeah.
wanted to go, she wanted to be a fashion designer, but her father wouldn't let her right after the war, after World War II, to travel alone to New York City. But so we got to take her to a Broadway show and to fancy restaurants, and we took whenever I would go with Ron, I would be walking or taking a bus. She fell in love with New York City cabs, and so we went to we had a cab driver that took us all through Central Park by cab. It was so neat. That, and she fell in love with Macy's bargain basement. And
yeah.
just the joy that was, taking her out to fancy restaurants. Although the restaurant she talked about the most was what's the Forrest Gump the
The Bubble
Bubba
Gump
Gumps.
restaurant.
Yes. We take her to Morton's. She doesn't talk about that. She told everyone about Forrest Gump or Bubba Gumps. But yeah, just it's wonderful to travel, but it's so much fun to take somebody someplace new. Um, I was just on the phone with talking about writing things down, and that's what I did yesterday. I wrote down, what I had to do, get in touch with Royal Caribbean for a client that is going or on a Christmas cruise, and and call a couple other people. And I saw and made my list last night, wrote it down with phone numbers, because in the past I would say, oh yeah, I have to call Debbie, I have to call this person, but then, oh, I don't have the number right in front of me, or not, or whatever. So I made my list last night of what I had to get done, and so I'm about halfway through. But but yeah, travel, it's so much fun for us, but it's so much fun. It's even funner to take somebody along with you and have them experience something.
That is so true, Linda. And even watching someone light up. Somebody else want to share?
Yes, Brenda, on that note that you just said, Linda, that is so wonderful. And these are the treasures and the great memories that we actually were in Virginia for a wedding for our niece. But we also, and we're not gonna get into that because we'll be there for days, because it was absolutely off. It was exclusively awesome, amazing experience. But we were able to go down to visit our cousins, which is Glenn's first cousin, in Suffolk, Virginia, and they had the way they had prepared for us, and they wanted us to have this experience with them. And I mean, the way they lit up when we came in that driveway, and they're like, "Oh, but we got to take you to this brunch," and we get to, you know what I mean? It was just the way they really put the time and effort into. Oh, my cousins are here, my family's here. Let's go have this experience. And I'm like, that is, to me, are the treasures.
Yeah.
And that's and even seeing, we were driving through the city and we were looking at the different things, and it's like, what an experience, that I just delight in that kind of stuff. So we really enjoyed that, and it was a push because we had to get up early in the morning, and Glenn was like, you know what, when we're this close to family, and these guys are absolutely amazing, and it was a great time. Back to you, Rick and Brenda.
Wow, that's nice. It's nothing like travel. You cannot beat travel. Anybody else?
Yes, this is Adrian. I was going to say, yes, I agree. Travel definitely makes memories and all, but I was going to comment on what you were saying about writing things down. I mean, making your list beforehand, because I've tried it both ways. I've tried it the night before, and then I've tried it writing my goals for the day of, but it seems like the day of, you get more interruptions and distractions. But I find if I write my list at night, what I need to do and goals for the next day, I do better, because it's like it's etched in my brain. By the time I get up, I don't even need to look at my list. I've already known what I got to do. And so it seems like it works better anyway if I do it the night before.
That's awesome.
Back to you.
Yeah. That's good, Adrian. And even to take the time to figure it out. I mean, even to take the time to figure out what works best for you. It's almost like one of those things where, are you a morning person or you're a night person? Well, I do like to stay up late. It gets quiet, but it's nice to get up early in the morning and get a lot of things done. So just finding out what is the best for you. So writing your goals for the day is best for you. And doing it the night before. And what's so nice about that is when you're writing your goals on what you want to do the day before, you'll remember things. You'll be, oh yeah, that's right. I need to get that done. I need to get that done. And you'll write it down. And even in the morning, like you said, it's like, okay, I'm going to knock this off. I'm going to knock this off. You called 3 people in the last 15, 20 minutes that you would forget if you hadn't wrote it down the night before. And I love what Linda said. I put their phone number near their name because that's real good, Linda, because now you're not having to say, hold on a second, let me find their number. Because you know what happens when that happens?
Distracted.
You get distracted. Even trying to find their number, you'll get distracted. and you'll say, oh yeah, hold on, let me call this person first. That person wasn't even on your list. But because you scrolled down and saw their number, you called them. So that's really a great idea too, to go ahead and put their phone number down next to their name, because a lot of times what happens to us, especially with modern technology, and you guys will all be able to relate to this, how many phone numbers you have in your contacts? How many phone numbers do you have in your contacts? And then if you don't remember, did you put their name in, first name, last name, or did you put them in on how you know them? Did you put them in as, dentist, or did you put them in as my hairdresser? I mean, because you forget, and you have thousands of contacts in your phone. And I know a lot of us on the call, you remember when you remembered people's phone number. It was almost like you remembered people's phone numbers, because we didn't have this computer in front of us that would hold every number we ever dialed. And then all we have to do is put a name next to it in contacts. So you'd be out and you say, oh, I got to call so-and-so. So it was great because the first three number was always the same depending on where you live. So that made it easy. So really you only had to remember 4 numbers if you think about it. So whatever, or the area code, it was good. And then forget area code, because back in the day, that cost a lot of money. That was considered long distance if you were going to call somebody that had a different area code than the area code you were in. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But now we have it all right here in front of us on our phone. So that will take half of the time on making those calls, on saying to someone, I saw your Facebook post, I just wanted to call and let you know that my prayers are with you, blah, blah, blah. Or even now, you can just go right and send them a message. My heart goes out for you. I have a friend who had someone who passed away the other day, and it was so quick to just say, my heart goes out to you, knowing that she's very busy right now and so many things are going on. But we can connect to people so fast now that we should not get so hung up on, oh, I got to make a phone call. You can reach out and touch people so fast in so many different ways. Mm-hmm. You can text them. You can send them an email. Even if you do call and you get an answer machine, you're leaving a message. 3 things right that fast you can do to connect to someone. Whereas back in the day, you would mail a letter and they wouldn't get it for however long. And then you'd have to wait for them to mail you a letter back, and then you get the letter, and then it's like, oh, okay, they got my letter, how nice. You do things like that now in seconds. So being able to reach out and contact folks and let them know you care, let them know you thinking about them, that should be such an easy task for all of us. It is nothing to do that.
You know,
I have people that, go ahead.
Brenda's darling, I just want to say on contacting people, I'm still on East Coast time, but I woke up this morning at 3 o'clock and I said, there's 3 people I need to talk with today. I sent them text messages at 3 o'clock in the morning. Make sure that contact. So it's not me trying to call them on the phone or anything like that. They know they need to get in touch with me today, and I don't have to run around and chase them. So
right,
that is good on getting in contact with people. We can do that instantly now, and that is so helpful.
It really is. And when you say that, darling, when it comes to mind, move on it. That's another thing that I like to stress too. When it comes to mind, move on it.
Yes.
And I'm talking to myself now. So I woke up this morning. I'm gonna share with everybody, and I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna do it after this call. And I started thinking about my daughter-in-law, and I said, oh man, I need to talk. I need to reach out and text her, and this is what I want to say. And even when I got up, that's what I told Rick. We're getting up, getting ready to start our day. And I said, yeah, I'm going to call. I'm going to text Lauren. I'm going to say this and that about CC and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, my goodness, it is whatever time, and I totally spaced it. But if I had written it down Or if I had moved on it right then, it would have been something that's done. But it's something that I'm going to still do. And the only reason why I didn't do it in the morning, because it was early. I figured she's probably starting her work day. But like you said, Darlene, if it's a text, it doesn't matter what time it is. Because if she gets it and she's feeding the baby, or she's on a conference, or she's working, or she's walking to her office, it's okay, because she can respond when she has time. But at least she got it, she saw it. So that, I can't even use that as an excuse now because that really did not matter. As soon as I sat down, but I started doing everything else that I do every day, my little ritual, my little routine. And texting her wasn't part of it. But if I had written it down, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you sit down and you say, okay, I'm going to do this first. Let me do this. It would have taken seconds to do that. And I would have sent it a text and we would have moved on. And even if I hadn't gotten a response back in a couple hours, I know she's busy. That's why I didn't call her. That's why I just text her. So that's a lot of things that we can now move into the next and see that generation, what are they? Generation X? You know, I don't even know what I have not, and even my granddaughter's generation, I don't even know what they're called. I need to ask Siri what they're called. But they are, you know, they text with two thumbs. I think, they use the thumbs to text.
I can't do that. I've tried.
and then they do the swipe words. You know, so you'll put two words and you'll swipe, and the word will come up, and you'll click on it. It's so fast, da 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 da, and it's done. And I've been in a room where we was just kind of sitting around, relaxing, and everybody's on whatever device they're on. And I look up, and everybody's in a whole nother conversation with another person. And then my daughter's funny because she'll text you. She'll be in the same room with you and text you something. What are you doing? And you look up at her like, what, did you just text me? What am I doing? And we're right in the same room. And she thinks it's funny.
They don't talk.
But that's how they communicate. Does somebody else want to share?
So Brenda, one of the things that you had
Yes.
mentioned, you were talking about goals and setting goals. And, you know, and new people that come into the business, or people that you want to prospect to come into the business, but really new people coming into the business, and being able to talk to them about vision. You know, Glenn talks about this sometimes, you know, but being able to be aware of the people that you're prospecting or bringing into the business, you know, what is their vision? Because the vision will tell you if they're ready to go, you know, if they're ready to move. And a good example of that was Ron and Linda. You know, they already had a vision. You know, Ron gave Linda a line way back when, a really cool line, pickup line about going to London.
Don't go to England with your girlfriends. Marry me and we'll go together. Okay, so we went on our 10th wedding anniversary, but
that was a ways
It took 10
back.
years.
But check this out though. So when they come in the travel business, I'm looking around for them. They're nowhere in the United States to be found. They're cruising in Europe. And I didn't have to say anything. It matched, they matched it to the vision that they already had. And now they say, okay, this is the tool that can help me do that. And a lot of times we're trying to force feed something to someone that doesn't necessarily see how to match it to their vision. So if you have a conversation with someone and you're talking about, you know, what is your vision? What do you want? You know, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, tomorrow. And then once you know that, that's why it's so important to know your business. You know, now you can share the business based on their vision. You know, Glenn talks sometimes about the pastor that we spoke with, that was over the community center, and how we didn't even have to bring out our laptop because we were talking vision. And he actually signed up because of the vision and where he saw the business being able to help him achieve and accomplish his vision. People don't have a vision. If you're talking to someone, without a vision, people perish. But without a vision, there's no movement. A person is stagnant. And so where we come in, if we can help create or at least stir up, stimulate that vision, that may have been locked inside, down deep, and to resurface that or bring it to the surface. We didn't have to tell Ron and Linda about becoming proficient travel agents. They start taking the trainings, they start booking trips, they start doing all of that. I didn't have to tell Ron much about the vortex and working with churches. He started sending missionaries out.
Yeah.
Being with folks at 3:00 in the morning at the airport when they're flying. He matched it to his vision. They went to New York, and they had a really great time in New York. They went to Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera, yeah.
And their friend said, I'm not going to use you guys. I'm going to go, and I got connections. So they go, and Ron and Linda are sitting right where they play the piano, and the thing falls on the piano.
Row center. Oh. They were in the side of the balcony. Sometimes you just.
They were like, the friend was like way back there.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But I didn't even have to tell Ron and Linda that. They were like, you guys took the tool, tied it to your vision, and ran with it.
Yeah, it's neat putting this for a Canadian couple. Again, it was referral that we're putting this trip together for a Christmas cruise on Royal Caribbean for two their adult daughters going with them. And it's I'll tell you, using we use Surge concierge service to help us with it.
Oh wow.
And Catherine, she was just amazing. So much information. And then, but the information is out there, and just the help is out there. Like I said, I spoke to right to Royal Caribbean this morning. I'm so used to Carnival because we do so many put together group cruises for Carnival. And so we know that like the back of our hand. Doing Royal Caribbean is different. And we did a Norwegian cruise for some people beginning of the year. The more you do things, you just learn things. And so
why did you use the concierge versus going direct to Royal Caribbean?
That's a good question. I don't know. But we went through Surge to book it, and they were very helpful. And this is before we, I know that they just announced that they're tying in with Royal Caribbean, but they were very, very helpful setting it up.
Nice.
And again, the difference, the pricing difference between US and Canada. The good part is they put it, because all of our fees were in US dollars, but they paid with credit card, and then the credit card does the adjustment. So we didn't really have to worry about that. But then for some backup help, I've called Royal Caribbean directly. So I really don't know. Ron had done it that way. He has a meeting out of the he's not here right now. Let's put it that way. He'll be back soon. But he said, "Can you get on the call?" And I said, "Of course I can." So
I think it's awesome to have the options and on whomever you want to use.
Yeah.
If you want to use the direct, or if you want to go through the concierge.
Carnival, we always go direct, but then we have such a great working, and then of course we have the tie-in, you know, with Manatee with Carnival, and you know, so but you know, just you know, the help is out there, and you really can't, you really can't mess up. You know, I
You
mean,
really can't.
because if you have a question or if you mess up something, I can't think of what we would mess up, but um, you know, everything's fixable, you know?
Right.
So, you
But
know,
you guys, so when you guys came on board, you had a vision already.
mm-hmm.
So when we're talking to people, and if they don't ask them, you know, and see where their vision is, or if they
Oh,
have one.
we are always talking, we are always handing out, and some people say, oh no, I don't like to travel. Fine, you know, you can be very polite and very nice to them, but it's like you kind of you can't go any farther with that person. But you know, do you know anyone that's looking?
Right.
You know, we always use that, and you know, sometimes, you know, you know, when we're handing out a business card or, um, you know, if travel is not your thing, do you know anyone that is looking? To travel or to, you know, have more in life, and travel is a great vehicle. Get that? A
It's
vehicle.
true. It's true. And you guys do a good job because we're talking to the pastor, and of course he's got a vision
Yes, yes,
to
yes.
go to St. Lucia, you know, to bring some additional income in.
Yeah. Oh,
And
don't think Ron hasn't been getting information on St. Lucia for sending him the little nuggets, you know. So
to help the community. They do a lot
yeah,
of community
yeah.
work.
I
And
was with Kim today. She stopped over, and I made up a bunch of cards for her, Vortex cards for her to hand out. I
oh, nice.
designed a little
Which
card for
which
her.
which Kim?
Um, Kim Wilkins. She's the one that in the first month raised
Oh, made the
got
$500 bonus. Oh, by the
yeah.
way, congratulations to Glenn and Chantel on that $500 bonus.
Hey, yay.
Woo-hoo, way to go.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Congrats.
Now, let me say
Thank
this.
you guys. Thanks.
Let me say this. When you begin to understand, that's why we love Glenn and Chantel. When you begin to understand how to use the tool to make money,
Mhm.
and Ron and you guys too, and Darlene, oh, you know, people on this call, when you begin to understand how you choose to use the tool to make money on the marketing side, on the travel side, on any way you choose side,
Yeah.
you become powerful. So with Glenn and Chantel making them $1,000 bonuses, $500, it's no secret why we're always making, you always see them making a $500 or $1,000 bonus. That is not just happenstance. Talk about it, Chantel.
Wow. Let me tell you, and Glenn and I, we're like neck to neck with so many different with I'm telling you, that vision is so important. And sometimes what happens is you have to literally push on yourself because life is real. And it is just something about when our company is up against the wall, when our team is up against the wall, our family, and it's like, okay, I remember Coach Tomer saying, hey, when a play is called, you make that play. That thing is like etched into my psyche, like, make the play. And I think that is so important to challenge ourselves because we can. It's like, why can't we make the play? Why can't we sit down and say, okay, you know what? My goal today is 5. I am going to reach out to 5 people, and you can have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, whatever your deal is. But it was something about there was money on the table for my family. And I said to Glenn, I said, you know what? Because You're talking to some people. I'm talking to some people. Let's do this. And it's not like we went and chased people down. I'm telling you, these people showed up.
Awesome.
It is amazing when you set your intention, how these people, the guy was like, he saw Glenn at home when he went home a few weeks ago. And he said, hey, I want to start the business again. And they did not have him in this system. He got started. Don't let things block you. That's inside of you. And that's my thing.
How do you set your intention?
You make a declaration within yourself and you speak it out loud. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're just setting the intention that, you know what? I am absolutely an overcomer. I am absolutely a winner. My family is aligned in this mission assignment. We are absolutely going to bring hope to somebody today, not tomorrow, today. That's every day. We're going to bring hope to somebody. I don't know who that person is. It could be right in my own house. We've experienced that. When you prayed that prayer and you looked up and it was a person in your house that needed that hope. Real time. It was that person that needed to get up, but you set the intention. And one thing I'm learning, and even watching Glenn and the way he handles things and organizations and people, because that was something that I did not see myself doing. I've been in a lot of organizations, but it's something about when you actually see a need in there. That's when I light up. I said, oh, okay, there's a cause here. We can help them absolutely meet that cause with the tool we have in our hands. But it's really setting an intention that we're going to bring hope to somebody today. Aren't we the company of hope? I mean, we mean this thing. Before they even mentioned that was on our vision board years ago. Hope builders, community builders is on our vision board. That vision is so important. Glenn, anything?
Of course. You know, a lot of people, with the way the economy is right now, one of the goals we set is to get these new people, the ones that came in as associates, to get them 3 and free and to get them their first bonus so they can upgrade.
Amen.
And that's when your $1,000 bonus is starting to come in. But hey, look, there's $100,000 on the table here before the end of the year. Do we understand that? They roll back the clock. $100,000. Would that change a few things? I would say yes. So, you know, there's a sense of urgency, and even with the timing of it all, there's a lot happening in this year. It's an election year, but all of those announcements they made down in Galveston, that was amazing. And they've done this a couple of times, but this time is different. This time is different, and we are treating it different. So our goal is to help our team move and get those bonuses. That's when things happen, to move as a unit, not you hitting the bonuses, putting all the people in yourself. The system is built on everybody moving, at least get the 3 and free, and we're here for whosoever. And Brenda said something earlier about staying up on things, and that's where I'm at now. I'm going back through everything because some things have changed. Charles Nicholson has a Zoom this afternoon, and each one is getting better and better. There's more tools that he's rolling out, and I think today, Thursday, they said that the Wholesale Travel Club membership site to be down because they're upgrading it.
Oh, yes.
So we're gonna have a new look on the Travel Club membership.
Wow.
By tomorrow, I'm figuring. So stay tuned, revisit your goals, and look at the possibility of $100,000 in 200 days. Back to you, Rick and Brenda.
And can I say this?
Go ahead.
Take it one day at a time. Put the vision out there because that's way out into your generations, but it's moving you somewhere. but it's each day. What can I do today to grow my business? What can I do today to touch a life? It is a daily goal. It's a daily activity. And that is how it is the consistency of that walk. It's the getting up, whether it's inside, it's outside, and your body will come into alignment with that thing. Your mind will come into alignment. But when I set the intention that, okay, what can I do today? And you will watch how things will open up to you, because that intention in you is alert and it's moving. Because you said yes to yourself. Things are going to start coming towards you, because you just made a comment a minute ago. It reminded me of two people that called me and I did not call them back. And I got to call them when we get off of here, because I'm like, oh my, these people are reaching out to me, and I had forgotten this person who said, you know what, I want to look at that business weeks ago. But I'm telling you, just getting on these calls, sometimes it reminds you, and then it awakens something, and you're like, uh-oh, I forgot that. Okay, it's okay. It's a new day. Let's start the new day. Start again. It's okay to start again. It's okay if I fell down yesterday, but today I am up. I woke up in victory. I am going to hit my target. I don't care if it's to pick up that phone to share this with one person. Send out, which Glenn sat down and I took pictures. I'm going to post that in the group. When we were working with one of our new guys the other day, and I was just sitting there. I was kind of like in the room, just kind of cheering it on. But I was in the room and I was watching the way he hands-on was walking this guy through the process. And he was putting this stuff in his phone like a brand new baby up in here. And he was learning how to flow in this new tool that he now has in his hands that can absolutely empower him and help him to reach his goals, because he does have a vision. Back to you, Rick and Brenda.
Wow. You know, I was going to say, good to see you, Ron.
Hello.
You changed.
She's much better looking than I am.
Well, I didn't say that, but hey, you know, the people who get what you just said, Chantel, those are the successful people. The business is not working harder, it's working more smarter spiritually. And like you said, being able to quote unquote channel that focus, that intention, that prayer, as Brenda mentioned, those goals, that's what moves, that's what gives you momentum and movement in the business, that vision. It's not how hard you work, but it's being able to understand the law of attraction, you know, walking by faith. And when Deborah had mentioned the FAITH and the things that stands for, each letter, that's what causes movement in the business. Nothing else. And that's why a person, if they can but do that, you know, that vision, that intention, that focus, understanding the like attracts like. If I get by becoming, and you know, I can't get what I haven't become, because I'll get where I am. But understanding those principles, that's what draws people. That's why Brenda and I can move from Colorado Springs and be even more effective moving to Charleston, because we understand that it has nothing to do with Colorado Springs. It's not location specific. We could go anywhere in the world and have the same level of increasing success, because those are the principles that make things happen. Back to you, Brenda.
Rick, I think weather had something to do with that too. You don't have to push that snow anymore.
You guys got snow?
No, but
No,
you,
what's that?
Colorado.
Nah, Charleston, man.
How does that
I don't
work?
even, what's
That's what he's saying.
this
The
you
weather
speak
has
of?
something to do with it.
Hey, what's this white stuff you speak of?
Don't we love their enthusiasm about look, they're finally on that water in that sun, and they are so in your face.
Hey,
And
yesterday we
love
had crab.
Love it.
Man.
Yesterday we
It's
had crab.
nice. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. It is definitely different, but we love it. We really do. And it's so funny. We'll take off to go, and my cousins, they follow us, and they're down here. They follow us on Facebook, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, they still tourists," because we're going to all these places. We're going to all these places. They're like, "Oh, they're still tourists. They haven't really settled in yet." But
Chantel
it's
said,
really
"Just do
all
it.
these historical,
Just
these
do it."
historical places that they don't go. It's like, when last time you went? Oh, years and years ago. I mean, there's an angel tree here. Well, I won't even go. It's gorgeous. It's 400 years old or more. That's as long as they can track it back. It is a beautiful tree. Can you imagine? But anyway, we like doing stuff like that, and not to mention that it's just spectacular, all the history that's down here. But
Let me say
love
this right
that.
quick,
And
Bren, because when you understand this, you create your world. We are creating our environment, our world. This is not happenstance.
Where we're going.
This is intentional. We're creating.
Yeah.
Everywhere we
Yeah.
go, we're creating. And people are coming into our world through that creation. And see, that's what Ron and Linda are doing. That's what Glenn and Chantel are doing. Darlene, that's what you're doing.
We'll be tourists next week. We'll be in Florida.
Tell us about that real quick before we jump off. What's happening, and what's this you speak of?
Well, Rick, you remember the customer the company has this little program.
Night resort getaway.
We are.
It's called the 7-day stay. They're paying us to take a vacation.
Oh my
See?
God.
I have it right here. We'll be in
my
Daytona, St. Augustine, and Jacksonville.
Oh my
Love
man,
it.
time flies. That time is here now. That's next week?
Yeah,
Tuesday.
Oh my
Tuesday. I
Lord.
won't be here next week.
You guys are
We
gonna
will
have
be.
so much fun. Oh my
Yes.
Lord. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's nice. It's nice. Ron, every time you and Linda talk about that, I'm like, wait a minute, I just activated one of our 7-day night stay. I've been looking at us maybe going down the Hilton Head. They actually, in October, they have something called a grit fest. And it's grits, right? So it's called a grit
Danger,
fest.
danger, danger.
I love Cream of Wheat.
Danger, danger,
That is very
danger, danger.
Danger, stay away. But
Danger, Will
that would be
Smith.
so fun to go. Can you imagine what they're going to be doing with grits?
Man,
Oh, my
so many
goodness.
ways you can do grits.
So many ways that you can eat grits with different things. So we're thinking about doing that. But anyway, anybody else? Because we can sit together and we can laugh and talk for hours because we so enjoy each other's company, and we learn so much from each other when we get together, and that's what's so great about our call on Thursdays. And I do believe that it's going to grow. We're going to have more people come on board. We're going to have more people wanting to plug in because we're learning something every day. And like Glenn said, when you plug in, you have to plug in. You have to kind of reset. It's okay to reset and start over again because now that means it's your time. So if you want to go, and I really suggest, if you haven't been in your back office in a minute, you need to go check it out. If you haven't played around on your Travmanity site, you need to go check it out. Go book a trip. Go see how things work. Go and just learn something new about your business. And even if you were to call and talk to a concierge about setting up a trip, it's all free. And they send you the whole itinerary on where you can stay, and you have it on hand. So that's one thing I like. Just go and play around with your business, learn something new, keep that brain activated, and watch how more things will come to you. So you know what I love to say, that we are the most trusted travel team in Surge 365. We are all winners. We win daily, and I love saying that. So I want everybody to have a great rest of your day. If you can, definitely jump on Charles Nicholson's call. Tonight, Glenn does a great job of letting us know where to find it and listen to what's going on and hear some new information. So everybody
Glenda,
have a great rest of your, yes, go
Brenda, I
right
have a
ahead.
quick question for Glenn and Chantel. So is it, so 3 and free, I was trying to find where it included the person and then 2 other people. Is it the person and 2 other people?
That's my understanding.
That is my understanding. We would double check that, but that's my understanding that you
Yeah.
count as one.
I
Yes.
thought I
But
saw it somewhere. I was trying to
You know,
find it.
I thought since the new change, I've heard the 3 and free is still there. I have not heard that you're one of the 3, but that's something that we do need to check. We'll have an answer soon.
Okay, yeah, if you
and-
can check that, because I was going to tell a friend of mine who has another person coming on board, which brings 2 people and then himself. But then I said, well, I was trying to find it, and like Glenn, you were saying, I saw the 3 and free, but it didn't talk about the one yourself being included. But man, if they've got it like that, either way, it's still a good deal, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
All righty.
Goodbye,
Somebody
everybody.
else?
I got a question about Nicholson's call. Is it the same information as Tuesday night?
Say that again, Mariano?
Yes, for Charles Nicholson, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I put it up
Okay,
on
thanks.
on the messenger group page for today.
Thanks.
Okay.
All righty. Well, everybody go have a great rest of your day. We're
All right.
winners, best team in Surge 365, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye.